Thank you. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani Navasi Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Devi Shesha Shandavari Pasate Satarine. Hare Krishna. Thank you for inviting me to the Pune Yatra. This is my first visit here, and I am also a little overwhelmed by so many shining faces and exuberant devotees. It is very encouraging and enlivening to see how the progress that ISKCON is making in spreading this Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan movement throughout the world. We appreciate Srila Radhanath Maharaj's great endeavor in this behalf to, who, by his potency, has attracted so many competent people. This reminds me of the big panels that Srila Prabhupada used to have. Hundreds of faces that we've seen on the videos, or maybe some of us were here in Bombay or Kolkata. But at that time, although thousands of people attended those panel programs, they're not like you people. Maybe a few of them were, but they were curious to see how the Swami Prabhupada had brought the foreigners and taken up our culture and practicing our culture. And they wanted to see them, as Srila Prabhupada called, the dancing white elephants. And that was actually his mission. He said that because as was mentioned just now, that India was mad about following the West, imitating the West. And Srila Prabhupada tried hard to spread Krishna consciousness in India, but somehow it just couldn't take off by Krishna's arrangement and his Guru Maharaj's arrangement. So he said, let me go to the West and import some foreigners, import some dancing white elephants. Then the Indians will say that the whiteys are going Hari Bol, Hari Bol, then they will also say Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And now we see hundreds of people saying Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So that is the prediction of Srila Prabhupada, and by his great genius, he's utilized a few of the dull-headed malechas and shaken them up and painted tilak on their noses and put them in, take their pants off and given them diapers to wear and parade us around India. And as a result, we see so many sincere, serious people of taking up, you've heard Maharaj's glorification of his god brothers and sisters, but we were only actually a few. So I know that in the future, when we're all gone, because we won't be around very long, that so many devotees here are worthy of equal glorification already, although Maharaj hasn't mentioned you all, because we're guests, he's mentioning to us. but because there's, I'm sure there's hundreds more qualified people amongst you, and this is my only regret to being old, that I won't be around to see. Maybe I will. I'll come back and be born in one of your families. And who knows, you may be sitting here, and I'll be sitting there saying, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So this way, Krishna consciousness will go on increasing. That is the desire and the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and nothing can impede that. So we should never be disturbed. There's no material impediment to spiritual advancement or spiritual progress, as long as one sincerely follows the orders of the acharya, previous acharyas, nothing can impede it. Matter cannot impede spirit. Matter has nothing to do with spirit. So we should always remember that. So in all our reverses, in our daily exhibitions, because it seems, because we think we're matter, and material is, in the material world, to sort of Prabhupada said, it's not an easy thing to start a spiritual movement in the material world. In other words, the matter is anti-spirit, so in every atom is against us. We shouldn't become overwhelmed by matter. We shouldn't overwhelmed by material consciousness, because we're not actually material living entities. We're spiritual living entities. And these activities, according to Guru and Gauranga, they're spiritual activities also. We may not perceive it, but if we follow, this is the actual truth. What's happening now is not a material thing, it's a spiritual thing, although we don't perceive it as, may not perceive it directly as spiritual. That will come with self-realization. But we should know, as long as we take shelter in the instructions of the previous acharyas, then we'll always be safe, no matter what. But it'll obviously be difficult. Material body will get old, sick, die. That is natural, and there'll be so many impediments. That is the nature of this, very nature of existence, the hard struggle for existence. So that's all superficial. We're only here for 25 minutes, flapping around. So just focus on the reality, on the truth of the real purpose of the living entity. Is to engage his consciousness engage anything, whatever we think we are. Engage that in the service of the Supreme Absolute Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, under the instructions of these pure devotees, and then our life will be successful. Even if we're not as happy as we want to be in life, even if we don't get what we want in life, even if things don't go like we want them to go, that's life. But we should know for certain at the end of this life, if we sincerely stick to those principles, we'll go back to Godhead. We won't have anything more to do with this material thing, material problem. There's no solution to material problems. Try to understand that. Material life is a problem. There's no solution. You remove yourself from the problem. So that is the process of Krishna consciousness, how to remove yourself from the material problem. Go back to Godhead. Prabhupada has given a very easy, nice process, one lifetime, one-time shot, Kevalam, finish. So whatever happens in this lifetime, it's all superficial. It's only for a little while. You'll soon be like me, waiting to go. A few years, the time goes quickly. That's it. You just tolerate these reverses, etc., what goes on in the material life. You go through life, you have to work, you have to raise your families, and all those things. It's all superficial, more or less. Unless you connect it with Krishna, then it has some meaning. Otherwise, it's not very long. So don't become overwhelmed by this side of it. Try to understand the real essence, the real purpose of life is to accept the instructions of Guru Granga, and then you're perfectly situated no matter how you feel. Whether you're happy or in distress, you're perfectly situated. So don't be too impatient for the higher goals of self-realization, bhava, prema. Don't worry too much about that. You may not get it in this lifetime, but in your next lifetime, you'll get all that. You'll be back with Krishna. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Punyatra ki jai.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for inviting me here to be amongst you all. Right. Bhavananda Prabhu, he was here in Jaupati a few days ago. He came to Mayapur. And he was telling me, he said, how wonderful it is there in that temple of Jaupati with all the devotees. He said, it's such a nice feeling. He said, I wish Mayapur could be like that, devotees in Mayapur. He said, they're so unjudgmental. You can just feel it there. And he said, they're so polite. And those men, he said, they're so trained. They are so trained. And the women, and everybody's experiencing this, that you are very, 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 very nicely trained and behaved. You are an example for the whole world. And it's not just my opinion, but this is the opinion of hundreds and hundreds of devotees. When they come here and they meet you and they see how nice you have taken to Krishna consciousness, how well trained you are, they're very, very, very much impressed. This is the example, actually, of Krishna consciousness, devotees behaving throughout the whole world. And training means master. So we can understand that His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj has actually trained you so nicely, so nicely. It is all to his credit that you have taken to Krishna consciousness so nicely. And His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he has been able to do it to make you very Krishna conscious and trained, because Radhanath Maharaj is doing Krishna consciousness how he wants to do it. He's just himself. He knows what's good for his Krishna consciousness. And he's just living himself. And he's expressing himself. How he exactly wants to be Krishna consciousness. And you're just picking up and reflecting on that. And we see the wonderful result. By his association, it is said when you associate with crystals, it reflects the different colors, etc., like that. So simply by your association with Maharaj, we can see all these wonderful qualities that he has, you have picked up, and they're all reflected in you. So we're so happy again to be here with you all, and we hope that you will remain as dedicated and faithful for the next generation, and you will be the leaders in Krishna consciousness in the next generation. People will want to learn from you, as they are learning now. Srila Prabhupada said Mayapur should be a place of learning. All branches of Krishna consciousness, all aspects of Krishna consciousness. He wanted people to come there and be trained in all aspects of Krishna consciousness. So in this aspect of personality, being personally well trained and showing good manners and cultured and respectable personalities, that you are showing the world that you are leading the world in this aspect. So I'm so grateful to be here with you all again, and I'm especially thankful to Maharaj for allowing me to be in his association and take privilege or take the advantage of him giving me the privilege to associate with him. It's another aspect of his cause, his mercy. So thank you very much, Maharaj. I'd like to say Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari 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 Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Radhanath-Swami-Media namane, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharane, Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschachade Saturne. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I've been thinking, because I had some feeling that we would be asked to. So I've been thinking about how to share my realizations with you. So I'll tell you a little story, because in America, you know, we have so many different kinds of stores, and you can get almost anything you can imagine. They have stores that have thousands of different kinds of calendars. So when it comes time to get your calendar, you can go there and choose from so many varieties, more than you could even imagine. You know, every type of cat or dog, or beautiful place in the world, or cars, or instruments, motion pictures, just anything you can imagine, anything. Just like in the material world, you can have so many varieties of sense gratification. So there's so many calendars. There's one that's, the title of it is 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. So it's filled with all the interesting and unusual places in the world. So I was thinking that if we were to compile such a list of places for our movement or for the spirituality, that the Pune Yatra and Chowpatty Temple would be in the top maybe 8 places in all the world. I first heard about this yatra after Gauranga Kishore came to India for the first time, and he was speaking the glories of this festival. And so ever since that time, it's been a very cherished desire for me to come and experience this festival. So I feel so blessed that I'm able to be here with you this time. And thank you very, very much for your hospitality. It's such an amazing, amazing, wonderful festival. And I feel very honored and so thankful because you've made me feel so welcome. So thank you very, very, very much. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, you read and over again, it's stressed and emphasized the importance of associating with the Vaishnavas. It is said that wealth and learning and birth in a high family, these things cannot compare to the priceless jewel of having the association of the Vaishnavas. Because by having that association, you will gain the rare jewel of devotional service. So I feel, again, just so blessed to have the association of all of you. Thank you very much. We can never forget what a valuable thing association of devotees is. It's so rare and so precious. And just to experience this nice festival in your association is just the fulfillment of a dream for me, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you again, again and again and again. And I wanted to ask the blessings from all of you, because after once leaving here, after the Tirupati Yatra, Gauranga Kishore and I will be going to Jagannath Puri and Mayapur. And these are such special places, and I've never been there before. So I'm hoping that you will bless me, that I will get some very deep realization of the amazing qualities of these holy dhams. So please, if you could all give me your blessings, I would be most appreciative. And I would like to thank our hosts especially, Krishna Chandrapuru and Radhapriya Mataji, and Radhanath-Swami. I could never thank him enough for his wonderful association and all that he shares with us about his deep realizations in Krishna consciousness. He's teaching us in our whole society how to access the deep feelings in our heart which come from executing the practice of Krishna consciousness. Before Srila Prabhupada gave us these teachings, we would never have been able to touch even a drop of these things. So due to his deep realization and his compassion, we're now able to understand so deeply the glories of the process of devotional service and chanting Hare Krishna. So I want to thank him over and over again from the core of my heart for allowing me to be here and taste this incredible nectar. Thank you very, very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, to Radhanath Maharaj and all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Thank you very, very much.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When I heard that I might have to speak in front of all these people, I got real nervous. This is my first time to India, and of course my first time to Pune Yatra, and I thank Radhanath Maharaj for inviting me. So part of me was a little embarrassed to be sitting here, and part of me a little nervous, but then another part of me really felt just so blessed. This is an ocean of beautiful, smiling, loving faces. And when I came here yesterday and we were dancing, I didn't know anybody, but I really felt like I knew people because of the way everyone just received me and how we were dancing together, and it was like we were old friends. And this has a lot to do with the culture that Radhanath Maharaj is establishing in Chowpatty and amongst his disciples. And I've been in Krishna consciousness over 30 years, and I've seen a lot of different varieties of Krishna consciousness, or takes on it, and what is Krishna consciousness and what isn't Krishna consciousness. But Maharaj has really captured an essence which, of course, we all relate to. It's the culture of developing a community, a loving community, where we appreciate one another, and where everyone is appreciated for whatever part they're contributing. And this is really so important because association is the most important thing. We can't really be Krishna. It's hard to be Krishna conscious just by yourself. And the scriptures tell us association is so important. But it's not just any kind of association. It's not just hanging out together, but really nurturing and nourishing one another in spiritual life. And I see that example in Chowpatty. There's a level of integrity, and everything is kept clean. Relationships are so important in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not just a philosophical study. Krishna consciousness is real. Krishna is alive and real. And when Maharaj speaks, he brings to life the pastimes, and he brings Krishna consciousness alive for all of us. And he's providing like a foundation for Krishna consciousness to grow deeply and really wide, like a garden. Like he's planting so many seeds and providing such a fertile soil for us to grow in Krishna consciousness. And we just want to make sure that we take our responsibility and not just take all that he's provided for granted, but that we take our responsibility in making sure that we continue to pick the weeds out of the garden, so that may actually really flourish in the way that that's possible. And I feel very blessed to be here with all of you, and I don't know very many of you, but I would be really grateful if anyone would come up to me and talk to me, because I want to get to know you and really develop relationships and have your association. That would really make me really happy. So I'm also very grateful to Maharaj for inviting me here. And when he was so generously speaking about all the glories of all the devotees, it just really makes you appreciate how wonderful Krishna is. Here were 3,000 devotees, which is a lot. But there's so many more devotees and doing so many wonderful things all over the world. And through appreciating devotees and other devotees' devotion, then the devotion in our own heart can also grow. So I just wanted to thank Maharaj one more time. Thank you very much. And please come and introduce yourself to me. I would really love to get to know you. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Of course, the devotees who are here in India, they know me, and they will not be probably hearing anything new from what I'm saying, but maybe some of the words that I'm saying will be interesting to the devotees that are coming from as guests here from overseas. Like Rasalila and Sukava Devi were, my dear God sisters were speaking, you know, how they feel so fortunate to be here. Just imagine how kind Radhanath Maharaj is to allow me to stay here and experience this wonderful association of Vaishnavas every day. And I never get bored of it. Each time I'm coming for a festival or for, it is like a new experience in Krishna consciousness. As soon as I stepped into the boundary walls here, I was so thrilled to see so many wonderful Vaishnavas together. And I'm always feeling so grateful to Radhanath Maharaj to be the catalyst in bringing so many Vaishnavas together and be allowed to have this experience of love amongst each other and to be able to carry that on in future to other people in the world, because the world is in so much need of this. And just like Srila Prabhupada has always, from the beginning, always asked us to keep this in mind, that we not only are complacent with our own Krishna consciousness, but that we pass it on to others. So Radhanath Maharaj is very much picked up on this mood and is always trying to inspire the devotees throughout the world to bear this in mind, that there's an emergency of having to spread Krishna consciousness to others, because in Kali Yuga everything is degrading so fast. So being here in this wonderful association is an opportunity to become enriched ourselves and then with a happy heart go out to bring this to others. And when we are happy, that is the most contagious thing. Other people see, even I notice sometimes in the Bombay trains, when people watch us interrelating with each other, chanting Hare Krishna, being jolly and happy, they were very surprised. They all stopped talking and they just watched the devotees. And all of a sudden the train ride, they forget their anxieties. Usually, sometimes, especially in ladies' compartments, they start a little, get impatient with each other. But then the devotees come in, they chant Hare Krishna, and they talk about some festivals or, what they experienced. Then people all stop talking and to just listen what the devotees have to say. So I wanted to mention that how I'm living in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. I was previously living in Vrindavan Dham, and then by Giriraj Maharaj's mercy, I was invited, it was arranged for me to live in Gopinath Mandir for half a year to pick up some physiotherapy, training in Mumbai Hospital. And Gopinath Mandir is very close to Mumbai Hospital. That was for some reason to help one of his disciples who was injured. So, but then that service never took place afterwards for some reasons. And but I could see that it was purely Krishna's arrangement, Srila Prabhupada's arrangement, that I got to know Radhanath Maharaj and the devotees here. Then later on they invited me when Bhaktivedanta Hospital opened to come there and help. And I was, even though leaving the Dham is very difficult, because once you leave in the Dham you feel like you become very attached. But then I considered that association is so much important, and I knew I had a long way to go to become Krishna conscious, so good association is absolutely necessary. So I could see that with being in the midst of the association with Radhanath Maharaj and the disciples, that I would have benefit very much from that also. And it is such a joy in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, although, hospital naturally is like a little bit of a sad place, but at the same time, the devotees are so wonderful there that it becomes actually a wonderful place, a happy place, a temple. Many people come there and they say, this is just like a temple. They're just amazed. And there's so many preaching programs going on, at least 11, 12 regular preaching programs are going on to the consultants themselves. There's some doctors, of course, that are all devotees, then some doctors are becoming devotees. And there's a wonderful preaching program for them and their families, and some brahmachari, Gauranga Prabhu and some other brahmacharis sometimes come to conduct that Sanjeevani program. Then there's a weekly program for the staff to come together and to have a whole morning program with Japmala and class and everything. And then we have for young doctors, becoming doctors, a program with some spiritual topics and some material topics, some medical topics also. And then there's Premanjali for the patients who have been previously in the hospital, who became inspired by this spiritual care program of young devotees going to them and helping them, and even in their difficulties while they were sick, and then as they become better, they want to keep that association with the devotees, and they come for this festival, Premanjali, and with nice kirtans and lecture and prasadam and association of the devotees. And then there's other programs for pregnant women, and they have some also some medical topics, and then some spiritual topics on motherhood, Krishna conscious, don't call it Krishna conscious, spiritual motherhood or something like that, and related topics like that. And many other programs we have that are preaching programs. In the beginning, when Bhaktivedanta Hospital was open, sometimes that appeared to be like, why are we opening a hospital? Is that something that Prabhupada wanted or not? But actually, of course, we know in Gauranga Lila there's Murari Gupta, that was also a doctor, physician, and Prabhupada says in the purport that he was able to cure the patients materially, means medically, materially, and also spiritually. And I'm seeing also in the Bhaktivedanta Hospital that this is taking place, that people are being cured materially from their diseases, and they're also they're given a beginning in spiritual life and becoming enlivened in Krishna consciousness. And even the non-Hindu population that are coming there, even Muslims, sometimes Sikhs, and Christians, like that, they're all positively affected just by the love and care that they're given. And now we have a nursing school also, which is called Rosalind Tayton School of Nursing. And I don't know if you know, Rosalind Tayton was Giriraj Maharaj's mother. And when she passed away, after she passed away, the money that Giriraj Maharaj inherited from her was used to open up this nursing school. He donated for this, and then her name was given for that. She was also a very charitable person. And so these nurses are trained now in spiritual care as well. And even though they may not in future stay in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, but this will create a whole new era of young nurses that are administering care for the body, care for the mind, emotional care is also taken, and spiritual care is taken. This is a totally new idea in the medical field, and all this is all these services in Bhaktivedanta Hospital are carried out by wonderful disciples of Radhanath Maharaj who are personally trained by him, who are, the older disciples of Radhanath Maharaj, who have much love and affection for Radhanath Maharaj, and they're working so hard. Vishwarup, who I'm working under, Vishwarup Prabhu, he is such a wonderful Vaishnava, always smiling. He is like a Brijvasi, like Radhanath Maharaj, following directly in his footsteps. And he is so wonderfully heading up all the devotees in the spiritual care department and putting on so many programs and caring for the patients, for the nurses, for everyone. And now also he is organizing the eye camp and so many other wonderful services. Then there's, of course, Dr. Dalal, who is a wonderful physician and wonderful devotee, who is with his wife, always putting on this wonderful drama festivals. And everyone that comes is so inspired. And I heard also tomorrow there will be a surprise of a nice drama, which is, the scripts are written by themselves, and they're always choosing very nice devotees, including the little children. They are just amazing, little Nandulals, and that are very carefree, and I'm surprised they're not stage fright. They're just very carefree, showing Krishna's jolly, joking nature and enjoying nature, and just imagine these little Nandalals when they become big, how wonderful they can spread Krishna consciousness. And of course they have wonderful mothers. So Dr. Dalal is putting on this drama and putting on drama festivals, and then Giriraj Prabhu, who is our wonderful orthopedic doctor, and they're all, of course, counselors of so many Vaishnavas, and maintaining the Krishna consciousness of these counselors. And he also organizes every year the Christmas marathon, the Gita Jayanti marathon, and does so many other services. He has his own family that are wonderful devotees. Then, of course, there's Krishna Prem, who is a wonderful surgeon. And who did I leave out? Madhvanand Prabhu, our dear Madhvanand Prabhu, who is such a saint, so such a wonderful devotee. And he is very quietly managing this whole big hospital, and managing this hospital is not easy. I always say to the Giriraj Mandir devotees, managing this hospital, they sometimes may think, why they're not so often coming to the temple. They do come to the temple, especially Madhvanand Prabhu. The Giriraj Mandir is right across from the street, and I always tell them, to manage this hospital is like managing 5 temples. There's so much activity, spiritual activity going on. It's a mandir in itself. And they keep wonderful relationships with the Giriraj Mandir Bhaktas. And so the Mirror Road has become like a very nice Grihastha community of Vaishnavas. And we also have a program on Mondays for all of these Vaishnavas in the Bhaktivedanta auditorium. Now I know how busy and how much preaching goes on in Bhaktivedanta Hospital because everything happens in the auditorium, and I'm living on the same floor. There's every night a program, every night. There's hardly ever a night when there's not a program. And then, of course, there's Food for Life also going on there now, which is a whole new big project that has come up. Anyway, I'm speaking a lot, but, living here, you can't help it to glorify all these wonderful devotees and the projects that they're so busy with and so enthusiastic about. And all I can say that the beginning of my Krishna consciousness, with Prabhupada having introduced Krishna consciousness with so many projects. I was in Los Angeles, and we had so many projects, and we were always busy like this. But now, at the end of my life also, I'm in the same situation, with Radhanath Maharaj heading everything up. And I'm experiencing the same ecstasy as I did when Prabhupada was here. So I'm so grateful to Radhanath Maharaj for all this. And then I was only speaking about a fraction of what I'm experiencing. Then all these yatras and the wonderful lectures that we're always hearing from Radhanath Maharaj. And even today I was thinking that Maharaj is really like an emperor of spiritual emotions. And he's stirring up all these emotions, spiritual emotions in us. And I'm feeling, my heart is really vacant when I'm hearing his classes, what he has experienced. I can't even experience a fraction of the wonderful spiritual emotions he has. But fortunately, I'm able to be here in the audience to let him infuse my heart with all these wonderful emotions, so that maybe in future lives I will be able to experience it myself and act on it. I'm very grateful to Radhanath Maharaj for allowing me to be in his association always, and in the association of his wonderful devotees. And I want to thank all of his disciples as well for tolerating me. And I have never imagined that I could have so many wonderful daughters and sons in my life. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Appreciation for all the amazing things that I have seen, the new changes at Radha Gopinath Mandir since I first came 5 years ago. Beginning with Govindas, which you see when you first drive up. It was very enlivening to see that. And the beautiful marble courtyard in the front, and all the wonderful changes in the deity room, the gorgeous ceiling, the beautiful floor in the deity room, the dioramas up on the top floor. I mean, I'm only here for a few days. I'm getting just a little small understanding of the things that go on. I think it would take many weeks to really fully know all the projects and programs that people are doing. It's just incredibly enlivening to see all of that. And I feel like your community embodies that spirit of cooperation that Prabhupada so much loved to see among the devotees. And I would like to pray that you continue to be blessed with the enthusiasm and the cooperation and the energy to go on developing this project to your heart's content. It is just such a jewel in our society. Thank you so much.